Coming up in tonight's video, you'll hear from myself on the thoughts of the game. We'll also hear quickly from Rafa Benitez. We'll check the extent of the Jesus Gama's injury. And finally, I'd love to know your thoughts in your section down below. Hello Newcastle Fans TV, sorry the review is out late. I lost my mouse, so I've had to go and buy a new mouse over the weekend. So reflecting on yesterday's pretty poor, pretty awful display against Blackburn, we'll come on to more about the performance in a moment, and obviously as you've seen in the intro, we'll touch on Jesus Gama's injury as well. So let's begin how we normally do reviews as per usual then. Let's have a look at the lineups then. Let's put this on screen. So quite a few surprises, isn't it? I just want to touch on straight away, if you look at that bench, you could potentially say all 7, including the goalkeeper Matt Sells, will start against Hull. You would think so. At least six of them definitely will, and you would think Sells will probably be given a run out. So a lot of changes there made by Newcastle. Did it affect it? Possibly, but look at it. Darlow in goal, Yedlin right back, and Mbemba centre back, Clark centre back, Gamas who started at left back, Richie on the right, Hayden and Shelby in the middle, Atsu on the left, Perez on the as the number 10, and Mitrovic up top as well. So we'll have a look at Blackburn's lineup as well. Literally I got it almost spot on. I got 10 out of 11 changes made correctly. So they went with Steele, Marshall, Lenihan and Mulgrew as the centre backs. Left back was Williams, Feeney on the right, Lone Evans in the middle, Conway left, Gallagher up top alongside Graham as well. So the lineups, yeah, quite a few of them. I was very surprised, especially with Mbemba and Gamas coming in particular. That surprised me more than the others. I wasn't too surprised that Gale was on the bench because obviously we've got 3 games in 6 days, you know. But I have to say that the early signs were there when the Danny Graham header was when Darlow was forced to tip it over. And you've got to say, first half, Newcastle were really, really poor. Richie and Atsu just didn't get a kick, not even just the first half, all game. They were really, really quiet. Mitrovic was doing his best to hold the ball up in the first half and trying to bring other players in. He was just doing the best what he could. He was feeding off scraps. Shelby wasn't getting much of the ball. I have to say, Blackburn, to be fair, at Blackburn, the pressing was literally, it was spot on how they pressed. They've done a fabulous job on where they've done one on where come up 2 up top, you know, not many teams will play 2 up top. And I have to say, Lone Evans will probably from opposition's perspective done a job on our midfield. You stop Shelby from playing and it forces Newcastle to play a different way. And then the next option is you've got to look at the wingers, and you've got to say Richie was poor and Atsu barely got a kick either. So going into half time, you know, we're feeding off scraps on there. I thought, yeah, you'll get them in the half time. Rafa, I'll have a team talk. We'll come out as a different team, you know. And we'll hear from Rafa in a moment. Just looking at it, the second half again, it was we had to come out and try and get a goal. So, but there wasn't many chances that were happening. When Gale come on, and literally in the final 5 to 6 minutes, he had 2 golden opportunities. The first one where Steele is forced into save, and just slightly earlier on, Kieran Clark, I mean, why does he tap it from 6 yards? Why don't you blast it, you know? Yeah, we had a couple of other shots that went wide, with Shelby, but the goal from Mulgrew, which come a little bit earlier on the 75th minute, who are you going to blame there? You blaming anybody? Maybe Hayden, because Hayden's not renowned for heading the ball. He doesn't attack it. He kind of pushes Mulgrew off, and then he volleys home. For me, Hayden's got to go and attack it. For me, you cannot do that. But I'm nitpicking. But I don't think it was more a defensive problem from Newcastle this game. I think it was more attacking wise. We didn't have anything, and like I already touched on, that I was really, really surprised at how poor we were, especially out wide, because if you stop Shelby playing, as I mentioned, we've got to look at an alternative. And finally we're seeing Gale and Mitrovic come up on top, and obviously, yeah, we've already touched on Gale should have at least put one of these chances away, but it was a smash and grab, and Blackburn did a fabulous job on, well, literally a marvellous job. We only had 2 shots on target all game. But, you know, we'll move on. Blackburn, delighted with the 3 points. I have said numerous times, I said it in the podcast with Will, that I think that we will be a few more freak results. I think it's better that we lose against teams that are at the lower end of the table rather than the higher end of the table. This is what Rafa said, did quickly.
You made a lot of changes to the side. Do you wish in a sense you hadn't made the changes now?
No, some of them you have to do it, and the others in the end you have 3 games in 8 days, and some players they were playing too many games, so it was just to be sure that we keep it the competition between them.
So Rafa was asked the question there, did his changes, has he regretted it, and he's saying no, but during the game we had some bad news about Jesus Gamas. He went down injured. Now this part is on the match experience video that I had, which is coming up after this video, so keep an eye out for that coming on the channel. But he went down and I thought, oh, he'll get up straight away, and it looked pretty serious. You know, they were touching around his head, and we're a little bit unsure in the stadium what was going on. Then we're seeing him stretch it off, and it didn't look very promising, because we know that he's had a few injuries since arriving at the club over the summer from Atletico. But he come off, Paul Dummer come on. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it's meant to be his collarbone, and if it's his collarbone, he could be out for at least up to a month, which would mean you miss all the Christmas period as well, where we have games thick and thin. But luckily, on the other side, we've got depth with Haidara and Lazar, who are trying to get some match fitness. You know, luckily we're all right, but it's just a shame on the lad. You know, nobody likes injuries, so now we've got Aaron's out all season, and Gamas at least for a month. That could be extended, and possibly with suspension to Shelby as well. But all in all, disappointing. It was pretty awful. Performance-wise, you could name loads of people. It was a very frustrating afternoon, I've got to say. But you'll see that in the match experience video that I do as well. Right then, thank you very much for watching Newcastle Fans TV, and we shall see you later.